Lisa, an inquisitive 10-year-old, arrives at her grandparents' secluded countryside estate. The house stands like a shadow against the twilight, its crooked windows glinting eerily in the fading light. Her grandparents, Mildred and Walter, greet her, their smiles strained and their words clipped. Mildred's movements are brisk and precise, her lined face betraying a flicker of unease. Walter barely meets her gaze, retreating to his study without a word. Lisa feels a faint chill, not from the air, but from the heavy tension that cloaks the house. While exploring the house, Lisa stumbles upon the attic door. The wood is worn and carved with strange symbols, which catch the dim light at odd angles. She places her hand on the handle, only to recoil from its icy chill. A soft voice whispers her name. Lisa. She peers around, but no one is there. Just as she begins to lean closer to the door, Mildred calls her downstairs, snapping her out of her daze. The noises begin. Lisa lies in bed, staring at the ceiling as shadows dance in the moonlight. The creak of the house settling blends into the distant sound of the wind, but then a loud thud erupts from above. Her heart pounds as the thuds grow louder, like heavy boots stomping across the attic floor. Each deliberate step vibrates through the walls, making the hairs on her neck stand on end. She calls out to her grandparents, but her voice feels swallowed by the silence. The second night, Lisa wakes to the sound of knocking on her window. She cautiously approaches, her breath forming frosty clouds in the frigid room. Outside, a twisted shadow looms, its edges flickering as though it doesn't belong in this world. Then, the knocking shifts to her bedroom door. Sharp, urgent raps. As she pulls the door open, the hallway stretches unnaturally long, its end shrouded in consuming darkness. A faint laugh echoes, sending her scrambling back to bed. The next morning, Lisa notices odd behaviors in her grandmother. Mildred mutters to herself as she stares at her reflection in the hallway mirror, touching the deep lines on her face. Lisa overhears her speaking in fragmented sentences. It wasn't meant to be this way. It should have worked. Walter snaps at her to stop rambling, but Mildred ignores him, her gaze distant and haunted. On a cold winter's night, Mildred and Walter stood in the forest behind their home, a roaring fire casting long shadows on the barren trees. Lisa, her young face glowing in the firelight, held her grandmother's trembling hand. Mildred and Walter, desperate to regain their youth, chanted an ancient destiny swap spell, learned from Walter's occultist brother. Mildred's voice faltered as her nerves took over, breaking the incantation. The flames erupted, the ground trembled, and Lisa's innocent soul was ripped from her body, trapped in Mildred's 90-year-old frame. Lisa's original body collapsed lifelessly, and her spirit was forever tied to the house. As Lisa navigates her haunting cycle, she encounters a comforting presence. Her mother, Elizabeth. Elizabeth appears as a gentle, glowing figure, guiding Lisa with reassuring words. She explains the truth of Mildred's betrayal and urges Lisa to find peace. Elizabeth's warm light contrasts with the cold, oppressive energy of the attic, giving Lisa moments of courage and clarity. Walter's bitterness is revealed through fragmented memories. Years ago, while he was away fighting in a battle, Mildred had an affair with his brother, a charismatic but dangerous occultist. Walter confronted Mildred and his brother, but she denied the accusations vehemently. It wasn't until years later, on his brother's deathbed, that the truth came out. Walter found Mildred's diary, detailing her longing to reunite with his brother as a younger version of herself. Enraged, Walter sabotaged the ritual as revenge, ensuring Mildred's punishment for her infidelity and greed. Lisa begins reliving her haunting repeatedly. Each time she wakes in her bed, she's convinced the nightmare is over. But as soon as her eyes close, she's back in the attic. Her reflection in the mirror taunts her, and the whispers grow louder with each loop. The nightmare intensifies, leaving her questioning what's real. One night, Lisa discovers a hidden door in the attic. Inside, she finds a forgotten room, cluttered with eerie relics. Dolls with cracked faces, faded photographs, and children's toys, all belonging to the victims of Mildred and Walter's past failed rituals. The horrifying realization fuels her desire for justice and revenge. Lisa encounters Evelyn, the ghost of a teenage girl whose life was also stolen by Mildred and Walter. Evelyn offers to help Lisa break free, teaching her to harness her ghostly powers. However, Evelyn's thirst for revenge grows overwhelming, and Lisa begins to suspect her motives. Lisa begins noticing the attic itself is alive. The walls pulse faintly as whispers multiply, objects shift, and icy tendrils seem to brush against her skin. The attic feeds on Lisa's emotions, her fear, anger, and grief, growing stronger and more oppressive each night. Lisa is resting peacefully, guided by Elizabeth's light, having finally escaped the effects of the botched ritual. Mildred, consumed by guilt and her heavy conscience, believes she is Lisa, doomed to relive the haunting cycles forever. Her punishment is karmic, her torment a reflection of her betrayal and greed. Lisa uncovers the origin of the ritual in a journal hidden in the attic. The spell was created by Walter's brother, the occultist who manipulated Mildred and Walter for years. His ghost lingers, feeding on their failures and misery. Mildred confronts her reflection in the attic mirror, believing it to be Lisa's. The distorted face taunts her. "You'll never escape." The attic door slams shut, locking her in total darkness as whispers rise to a deafening crescendo.